everybody probably knows who Eugenie is, and she really needs no introduction. She is the Associate Minister for the Environment and a member of the Green Party, and responsible for introducing a ban on single-use plastic bags in New Zealand. And I'd also just like to say I did see the news today about the dolphins too, which was very exciting. So I'll just, if I can, if you speak Eugenie, then I'll be able to just, you'll pop up on my screen.
Kia ora koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui kia koutou.
Thank you so much. Okay, so what actually made you decide to ban single-use plastic bags last year?
Kia ora, Kate. So it was because Denise Roche, who was a former Green MP, she, in the last term of Parliament, she'd done an enormous amount of campaigning around Aotearoa, working alongside groups like Plastic Free Littleton and all of the other community organisations that were profiling and highlighting the need to do away with single-use plastic shopping bags and their impacts on the ocean. So Denise isn't with us in this Parliament, but it was a recognition of the huge community support and public support for doing that. So it seemed the obvious thing to do. And also I and the Prime Minister had got lots of letters from a lot of children asking us to ban single-use plastic shopping bags. So it was a real response to that public campaign.
That's fantastic, and I mean it's gone so well when you look at it now. It's been a huge success.
Yeah, because sustainable coastlines and others who are doing beach cleanups say that there are very few of those plastic shopping bags that they often used to find in beach cleanups now being found. So it's been amazing in terms of reducing ocean pollution from plastic.
That's amazing. And so you don't sit inside Cabinet. So how hard was it to get that bill passed in Parliament?
So it wasn't a bill, it was changes to the waste minimisation regulations. The Greens have only got 8 MPs, but we're on the Cabinet committees, and Cabinet papers go through the Cabinet committees before they get to Cabinet. So had an opportunity there and talking to colleagues, and then when we get papers on the Cabinet agenda, we can go and speak to that particular paper. So I think it was pretty clear to colleagues, given the strong public support, that it was something we should do. And it was working through issues like how thick the bag should be. And I know there's one retailer that is deliberately using bags that are thicker than 70 microns that we've got to tackle. And then the Waste Minimisation Act provides for a public consultation process that you need to go through before you make regulations. It's part of our democracy, so we did that. So it still took 12 months from start to finish, which for something so obvious seemed a long time, but we did go through that whole process. As many of you know, because you made submissions. Thank you.
And it's been hugely successful. And so Eugenie, Plastic Free July is all about people choosing to refuse single-use plastics. But are there any kinds of plastics that you personally think would be appropriate to ban if we had the chance?
Funny you should say that, Kate, because last December, the Prime Minister and I launched the report Rethinking Plastics in Aotearoa by the Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor, Professor Juliette Gerard. And at the time, we said we would start work on phasing out PVC and polystyrene, like those expandable polystyrene meat trays and a lot of the takeaway containers. So MFE's been doing work on that, talking to the sector and others, and has put some recommendations together, and am about to discuss that with Cabinet colleagues. And there are a number of single-use items as well that are in that list. So that's some work being done actively, and hope to be in a position to make some announcements on that in the near future.
Oh, that sounds very exciting. That sort of thing just makes me just want to know everything what's going on. So what else would you like to achieve this term in Parliament to reduce the use of single-use plastics?
We are running out of time because Parliament rises on the 6th of August, so there are only a couple of weeks left. And I think the Greens, just with our small team of MPs and having the waste portfolio, which we asked for, we really have a lot of work to do, and that requires the election result, obviously, to return a new government that's committed to that work. And so in terms of the remainder of this term, there's work on the landfill levy. Hope to be making some announcements on that. There's a lot of work being done on the container return scheme and how we design a fit-for-purpose scheme for Aotearoa. Things like all beverage containers are being covered, whether we include things like glass. Those are things that the design working group is looking at. So really want to get that landfill levy paper out and this work to respond to the Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor's report. Because things like PVC is really problematic for reprocessing and recycling PET plastics, and expandable polystyrene, there's just no place for that. And there are a number of other single-use items which we want to take action on as well.
Oh, that sounds very exciting, very exciting. So what are the single-use plastics that you no longer use, if you've got any that you want to share with us?
Things like straws. I fly a lot, and if I haven't got my keep cup with me, I won't take one of those paper cups generally, because they're often lined with plastic. The little, on Air New Zealand flights too, those little milk containers, because so many of them appeared in the Fox River landfill 7 years after they'd gone to landfill. So it's just being aware and trying to phase them out. But I'm still not perfect, as many of us are, but it is a journey.
Yeah, and you're making those small differences even just on the plane. It's awesome. And at the launch party tonight, we'll be learning how to make your own crackers. We've got Liam, who's doing that from the rubbish trip, and doing your own cleaning sprays, plastic-free clothing and makeup. Is there one thing that you want to try this Plastic-Free July to reduce your use of plastics?
I think it's a case of everybody trying something different. It's not just saying one thing, and because it's often the experiences with that one thing for each individual that can convince others when they talk about it to friends and family. I don't use plastic produce bags in the supermarket, but I do sometimes use convenience foods just because of time. So we'll definitely try and reduce my use of those.
Oh, that's a great little mission for Plastic-Free July. And I just would like to actually say, from my point of view, I really thank you and your team and the government for all the work that they've done in the past 3 years for getting. I've never seen so much happen in this sector in the 15 years I've been in it, and I just am excited to see the changes happening, and it's well done.
No, thanks very much, Kate. But it's also because we know we have the public mandate. So the work that all of the organisations that are represented on this call and people do as individuals in providing us with the public support and the mandate is really critical. It just makes political change so much easier when people stand up, say something, what they want changed, and then work collectively to do that, both at the individual level, and I see my job as Minister making changes with MFE in the system so that it's easier for people to do the right thing. And that's why we're also looking at things like a labelling for recycling. How do we really supercharge curbside recycling so that it's more consistent across Aotearoa? How do we make changes in the whole supply chain so that brand owners, retailers, manufacturers think about what they are packaging their products and how they're designing them to avoid waste and avoid waste going to landfill in particular. Kia ora.
That's exciting. Thank you so much, Minister Eugenie Sage, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it, and good luck with the stuff you've got going on in the next few weeks. Thank you so much.